nerds, and welcome to The League, exploring the League of Legends lore from A to Z. My name is Rebecca.
And I'm John.
My name is Mark.
Today we are revisiting the rogue assassin, Akali, who was released May 11th, 2010. I assume I wasn't doing the release dates then, although I actually didn't check.
Yeah, probably. I would say,
I don't think you did.
We weren't doing a lot back then.
Yeah, we were not.
I was looking at my notes. I mentioned two AUs. I was like, she's part of KDA, and she's, part of...
Project.
I was going to say, I think Project was the one that I called out at the time. Mm-hmm. She's part of a lot more than that. And we also didn't go over her old lore at all, or any quotes, or anything like that. And now... she's part of a new AU that she wasn't at the time, which was Star Guardian.
Sure.
So we've got some things to go over today.
I feel bad. I completely forgot that we didn't go over her old lore, and so I did not go over it this time. I guess I just assumed that we had, right?
Yeah, that was a new thing. Probably the same time we started doing. Now, it might have been different. I know we started doing AUs around Blitzcrank, but I don't know at what point I found the original bios for people.
Yeah, I don't know either. Maybe when you started doing the fun facts, because that was probably also on the wiki.
Yeah, maybe.
Know. Yeah, well, Akali...
we got them today, baby!
Akali doesn't have a ton of new stuff. It was fun to revisit. Her color story, because I remember us liking her color story, and I still do. And then the bow and the kunai, which is... like the first really long story that I think we read for this, and probably still one of the longest short stories, I assume, on the universe page.
Right, especially longest short stories, not necessarily starring
the protagonist. Yeah, there's a little bit that's from her point of view, but mostly from Faye. Again, made me really want to know more about her and where she is now, because that's an update that I don't think we've really gotten. And she seemed to be such an important part of Akali's life. Like a pseudo big sister type who her mom mentored and liked better than her own daughter.
Yeah.
Her mom didn't seem to like Akali very much.
It's funny. I went back and listened to our old episode about Akali, actually, just to try and remember. It's funny that I forgot about that, us not doing the old lore. And I think we really... could have talked about this story a lot more, right? It's a pretty interesting one. What I found really interesting in rereading it is that it feels very much like a very blueprint for Act 1 Season 1, right? Of Arcane.
Yeah.
Right? Just condensed down to a short story form, right? A lot of the beats are there.
Yeah, I like that. Except they might have the Zed conflict first, right? Because this one takes place almost right after Zed has betrayed Shen and, quote, killed Kusho.
I just mean to say I found it very... There's a lot of interesting similarities
between the existing
what happens,
Season 1,
right.
Act 1.
Yeah, I got you.
And as I thought about that, it also kind of made me try and think about what do y'all want to have happen with Faye? Let's say that she's going to get reintroduced into the lore. What do y'all want to do with her? I think it's a little tricky because some of that conflict feels like things we did see in maybe Arcane. The sibling conflict space is really crowded in League. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. I don't think that they would become enemies in the same way, although I don't know. We don't know, because Faye's obviously still around. She's lost a leg, and that's important, and Akali's mom is kind of dedicated to still helping her. Do we know where Faye is when Akali leaves the Kinku? Because that's there's this huge chunk of time between this story, because Akali's 8, I think. And when she leaves the Kinku, she's an adult, yeah? Or an old teen, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a good 10 years later, so it's not like they haven't seen each other since this. I want to know what the relationship... Unless Faye left. I want to know what the relationship was like in that time between, that happening and Akali leaving. And is Akali's mom still alive? God, I can't remember now.
Well, I mean, yeah, because Akali's mom is his name, right? Do you mean her? Do you mean Faye's mom?
Well, it's Akali's mom. Faye's mom's dead.
Yeah, whose mom were you asking is still alive?
Akali's mom. Is she still alive now and present?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know she's alive in the story, Mark. She was there the whole fucking time, bro. I didn't think she was a ghost. I didn't think it was a Hamlet situation happening here at the beginning.
Alas, poor Kenan, I hardly knew ye. I don't know. It says in like the bio that she stepped down. Not that she was that she left. I find it more interesting if she left with Faye, kind of like sort of like almost abdicated, right?
I really like that. That's fucked up and dark and sad. But I could see her doing that. I really didn't like Akali's mom very much. Now having a daughter myself, I'm like, how dare you? Like, sure, adopt Faye, who just lost her parents. I understand, but also your daughter just lost her father. Like, and you're just ignoring her all the time because you think she's too irrational. Parent her. She's 8 years old, you dumb asshole.
Right? And not just her father. Also just like a lot of people that she probably like lived with. She
probably watched them all get murdered, and she's like, Akali, you're a little reckless for an 8-year-old, so I'm going to train this 12-year-old instead because she seems a little less reckless than you, an 8-year-old.
Thank you very much. Well, I think that raises a good question as to what exactly is going on with Mayhem, and why is she so... It's almost like she genuinely just forgets that Akali exists.
That's what it feels like. They don't really interact, I think, at all during this story, which is very long. And Akali is frequently in the same room with her, and she completely ignores Akali in favor of Faye all the time. And even at the end, they're having a discussion. They're trying to tell her, Mayhem, is that her name? Mayhem?
I always read
Excuse me, ma'am?
Like
Mayhem?
Yeah.
Mayhem. We'll call her May. So
May's great.
Is being told that Akali saved a lot of kids. Like, by herself, this 8-year-old girl is dip, duck, dive, dodge all over this giant, corrupted, naturalistic monster. Or what naturalistic? Like it's a nudist.
I mean...
It was nude, probably.
It was hanging root.
Bear down to
nature
the trunk.
monster.
In front of the children.
8-year-old girl is like saving people's lives and pulling their bodies, like dragging 2 kids older than her away from them. And she's like, yeah, whatever. Let me scooch over and get next to Faye. She doesn't even say anything. I want to punch her. I know she'd kill me.
Not unless she had permission.
That's true. And Kenan would never.
Kenan's got to give the old thumbs up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm curious if this is like, you know, putting the tinfoil hat on here. If this is either an affair situation where she is Faye's mom, or like she did something during the assault that directly got Faye's parents murdered.
Or maybe her dad killed, something like that. Like Akali messed up and somehow during that attack.
I was just thinking for why she would feel
obligated,
so much obligation and maybe guilt
May
towards
kind of
Faye.
fucked up. Okay, got you. It just seems like she doesn't like Akali. Go ahead, sorry.
No, it's fine. I mean, you're right in that it doesn't come off as obligation. It comes off as genuine affection that is lacking for Akali. Right?
Yeah.
Now, is that the nature? I think it's hard because we don't see any more of Mayhem. That's the only thing. We only got this one view of Mayhem. What was their relationship like before? You know, maybe is it just a temporary thing where maybe every time she looks at Akali, she sees Akali's dad, and that's not to say that she's doing the right decision, but like you can understand where she's in her own emotional turmoil, maybe, but they don't. Obviously, that's not written, right?
Yeah.
I would like to know more about that, and then where things go, absolutely, right? Akali in general has a lot of blank spaces. I kind of found that on Revisit. Is that we do see her in the Zed comic, but she's mostly kind of just doing something very straightforward. And there's these big swaths of things for her that I'd like to know more about. I'd like to know more about when she broke up with Shin.
Right? She's present in a lot of places, but she's not there for a lot of the
it's a shame because I think she's a really interesting character, being a part of the Kinku Order, but leaving and kind of having a lot of the same beliefs as Zed, but not wanting to join Zed because obviously she doesn't have, he did kill her dad or whatever. So she's kind of in this in-between of being somewhat obligated to the Kinku Order while abandoning them, I guess. But she probably feels like they abandoned her because they fucking did.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
She's a
Now,
good-
out of curiosity, onto the Kinku, whole philosophy. Now, if Shen's dad was still technically the Eye of Twilight when Zed attacked, does that
Gosh.
does that mean that anyone murdered in that raid that Kusho kind of okayed was justified by the Eye of Twilight, and thus no one in the Kinku Order can be upset about it?
Well, no, because wouldn't you have to like go over it with Kennen and Mayim first?
So you cut out during like the final culmination of your question.
Oh, he
You're
was
like, wouldn't it?
wondering.
And then it just went all tinny.
He's wondering if all of the Zed murders were like approved by Kusho, so they were approved by the Kinku Order technically. But I think that they all have to come to an agreement. The three eyes of whatever they're called.
Assumedly, there's some sort of breach of protocol here. You're like some sort of like evil ninja bureaucrat, man. It's like
Right. He's just like he appoints Zed as like a temporary, deputy. You're like deputy Eye of Twilight. Kane, you could be deputy, Fist of Twilight, and we give you the okay.
maybe okay. So what if you had a story where Zed got caught and they had a little trial situation, kind of like they did with Yasuo, and they try and bust out that defense? I don't know. Shin's his lawyer, his overworked lawyer.
Well, I say,
Shin in with
ladies and
Shin
gentlemen
comes in
of
with
the
a
court.
briefcase full of papers.
Why did you immediately go with the sweaty Southern 1930s lawyer?
He's got a fan. It's like
Yeah, everyone's just.
right. He's getting the
Sorry,
papers.
I'll go with the the beaver public defender from Hundreds of Beavers.
Hundreds of Beavers.
That's fair and fun too. There's a To Kill a Mockingbird joke in here
That's what
somewhere, but I
I was
cannot.
thinking of that and fried green tomatoes. You really sounded just like the attorney in fried green tomatoes.
I was just doing a foghorn leghorn. The fact that all
okay.
old attorneys sound like that.
It's just
That's a natural fact. All right. Very much distracted me with this Southern lawyer situation. Wasn't so man.
But I don't think we ever actually answered your question, Mark.
I
What
don't
was your
remember
question?
what it was,
No, I don't
man.
remember what it was.
What do we want to see? If,
I told you I wanted to see the in between, the 8-year-old Akali to the leaving the Kinku Order Akali. What's her relationship with Faye like? Did they ever speak again? Because Faye blamed Akali for the loss of her leg, but Faye seems like a pretty reasonable person, and she does care about Akali, and even comes to the conclusion that sometimes the way she feels about her isn't fair. And I feel like it's not Akali's fault that Faye lost her leg. Like, if Akali had left when Faye told her to, she would be dead, and so would a few other people. So I think that she would come to the realization that, okay, that wasn't Akali's fault, but did she ever apologize for it? Or did they just give a silent treatment in this very small temple that they all live in together?
or did they run away? Did May and Faye run away
Faye?
Pretty early, and then May's indifference towards Akali just rubbed off on Faye over time?
It's very possible, and I do like that idea, Mark, of them kind of running off, because Mayhem does say something like, no matter what happens, we'll get you walking again. We're going to figure this out. So I could see her taking Faye and leaving and stepping down and being like, I don't know, when Kali's ready or whatever, just make her the whatever I am. I don't remember the name of it.
And we just covered, there's that whole town in Ionia that is
Fist of Shadow,
specifically
right?
dedicated to fake Hextech shit.
Oh, that would be riveting. That would be a great way to tie in Arcane if they were going to do this in the show
Just
at
do
all.
like a fake augmented.
I would love to see Akali more heavily featured in the show whenever they do Ionia. I really didn't think so at first, but I don't know. I like where she's at.
She's a good protagonist character, and I think it's funny. I have the same complaint about her and Aurelia, and that they're really underwritten.
Yeah.
I mean, Akali gets this long story, but it's so far in the past, and it's such a setup for things that have never been developed or paid off. Right?
That's the thing. It's setting up a lot of great shit while being a good story in its own way. And if you want to kind of get a feel for the Kinku Order, And especially like what Kennan's like as a character. He's in this a lot. I kept reading all of his lines as Heimerdinger, by the way. I remember us talking about how we couldn't imagine Kennan's voice saying these wise, like the wise words.
Right.
But I could hear Heimerdinger's voice saying them.
It's a start.
Yeah.
It's a start.
I do, I am curious too, like maybe the Ionia season of Arcane is when we get a continuation of the Fae story. Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
that'd be a great thing to break
fodder,
out.
But who
For
knows?
sure. Yeah.
I feel like they're going to focus on the Wind Brothers. But what do I know?
I mean, you're probably right. That's probably. I think it'd be.
Or Shen and
I
Zed.
still feel like. Yeah, Shin and Zed, something like that. Maybe they'll do Jin if they've got the.
There's a lot of
the
compelling
I know.
stories in IA. It's
There's a
just
lot of
full
shit
cool
characters in
stuff.
Zon, Like, it's just, I can understand why they weren't put in it. It's like, you're not going to put Zach, the sewer goo ball, in the show.
Yeah.
Although that would have been great. But.
I mean, we all love it, right? But there's a lot of there's a lot of humans in Ionia. That's one thing, right?
Yeah.
I feel like
That all have their own sad stories.
Yeah, when you're a human, you got to have a proper story. You can't just be a goofball.
Goofy,
You know what I mean?
goofball.
Goofball, some bitch. Shit, I forgot what I was gonna say. Okay, I thought like you're probably right. To probably be Wind Brothers. It is hard because I do feel like because they are essentially sisters and trying to do some sort of relationship thing with them could easily start overlapping with Arcane and but I do like a road trip. I like a road trip between like Akali goes to kill somebody and an arrow gets in them first and she looks up and even though it's been years she recognizes Faye and they're both maybe Faye is the new shadow of the
or whatever
Fist
they
of the
are.
Shadow. Right? Like
I keep forgetting the names of the three.
You can't just let there be no Fist of the Shadow be, like Kusho got killed and then they immediately were like, okay, Shin, well now you're the guy, right?
And he's like, oh man,
Come on,
man. I don't want to do it. My dad just died.
this.
I just want to play Xbox.
I'll be in my bar or my room.
I'll be in my trunk. 'Cause they live in the
Man, like a
woods.
bogger. So, yeah.
Do you guys want to hear anything about Old Akali?
I kind of do.
I would love to hear about old
Yeah.
Akali.
Now, one thing that I was actually surprised about is that a lot of the Kinku concepts that they have nowadays were established right at the beginning with like very little changing. So, original bio. There exists an ancient order originating in the Ionian Isles dedicated to the preservation of balance. Order, chaos, light, darkness, all things must exist in perfect harmony, for such is the way of the universe. This order is known as the Kinku, and it employs a triumvirate of shadow warriors to uphold its causes in the world, which I laughed when they referred to them as shadow warriors. They'd probably very much dislike that now, but Akali is one of these shadow warriors, entrusted with the sacred duty of pruning the tree, eliminating those who threaten the equilibrium of Valoran. A prodigious martial artist, Akali began training with her mother as soon as she could make a fist. Her mother's discipline was relentless and unforgiving, but predicated on a fundamental principle: we do that which must be done. When the Kinku inducted her into the order at the age of 14, she could slice a dangling chain with the chop of her hand. There was no question. She would succeed her mother as the Fist of Shadow. She has had to do much in this role which others might find morally questionable, but to her it is in service of her mother's inviolable doctrine. She now works with her fellow Shen and Kennen to enforce the balance of Valoran. This hallowed pursuit has, unsurprisingly, led the triumvirate to the fields of justice.
Bask in it, everybody. Stunning.
It's like an oasis in the desert.
Oh, what a climax.
And she also showed up in 2 Journal of Justice articles. So issue 19 was the one where there was like a magical disease that infiltrated the Institute of War. Only Kale was infected, but being alien, which she was at the time, her body developed an antibody immediately. So that was used to create a vaccine that Nurse Akali helped administer to everyone who worked there, and also Amumu. Now, fun fact, it turned out that kale was not, in fact, immune to this disease, and it was specifically synthesized for her, and she became weak for weeks after this, until becoming her full, strong self again, which coincided with some nerfs and buffs.
Oh, damn. That's
What happens in the game, it happens in real life. Man, that's what League used to be about.
They would remove champions when they pretended to kill them. You guys don't even know.
And then finally, issue 22, Akali and Shen perform at Ionia's annual Festival of Fire, dressed in their blood moon skins. They performed the tale of Reyna, a legend in which an ancient Ionian warrior is hunted by an evil spirit. Akali plays the part of Reyna, and Shen played the spirit that plagued her. And as the legend goes, Reyna fled the spirit for years, yet it always found and tormented her. Finally, Reyna donned her own mask to confront the spirit, but when she turned to face it, it never came again, frightened away by her strength. And Akali said, the story bears the same message we embrace at the festival. We all have darkness that pursues us. Here we identify our fears and worries when we hang them upon the great tree. Like Reyna, we must confront the darkness within our spirits. We must be stronger than that which torments us.
I'm attacking the darkness.
This is serious, honey. Come on.
Can I get a Mountain Dew?
Ma!
Are there any girls there?
I want to
Not
do
there.
that.
There are
Getting
girls
drunk.
there. I want to do them.
Do them.
Anywho,
Ogres.
Anyway.
She's in a few cinematics.
Yeah.
She's in Awaken, where she fights with Ken and Yasuo, Karma, and Aurelia against Sion in the second invasion of Ionia, TBD. She's in The Lesson, which
This is a good one.
I don't think had been released when we first
Wow,
went
it
over
feels so old, but yeah.
No,
you're right.
it had been released, but it was also described as very recently in April of 2020. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Let that
Still,
sink in for a
2020
second.
still doesn't feel like that far away.
God, we've been doing this
No, it
podcast
doesn't.
for a while, huh, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm done.
Should we just cut off the
That's it.
recording here? Or
Could you imagine if this was the last episode? We were just like,
5 years?
You wanna play
Jesus,
some
all
League?
right.
I
Well,
didn't realize. Yeah, let's go play League.
yeah, this one, a Noxian child cuts down a guardian tree. Akali has to save him, while Shen would kind of prefer to let him eat it. Eventually, Akali proposes a trade by having him plant a new tree and using magic to make it grow. The tree accepts this trade and chills. Then Shen uses some real magic to make the little plant a big, big boy.
It's amazing how Shen didn't think this. He's like, I'm going to let this child die. And Akali's like, let's just plant a tree that you can magically grow fast.
He's like, fine.
Fine. Sure, we can have an endless supply of trees, I guess.
When can I go back to my Xbox?
This makes my tummy hurt.
I know some tree that I... Yeah, right. This makes my tummy hurt.
I don't know why I'm ripping on Shen so much.
I want you to be like, oh, I'm going to be sick to my belly. Oh,
Give me a
Akali going
thumbs.
without me. I need an Akali seltzer. No, that's not.
Fizz, fizz. Oh, what a shuriken it is.
Right. Oh, Christ.
Now, she was also in the Rogue Assassin cinematic, which is the 2018 Thunderdome project, which is like a work-in-progress Akali animation where she seems to be trying or failing to save a village.
Poor Akali.
Yeah, the village seems in rough shape. And then she's been in a few World cinematics. We got Rise, not her specifically, but you know, shurikens and kunai and shit. Burn It All Down, the 2021 World Cinematic, and then Heavy as the Crown, the 2024 World Cinematic. And obviously, the Zed comic, which we've talked about a million times. I wanted to read my synopsis from the first Akali episode, which I wrote
Oh, I
down here,
like this.
which is not only short, but also very wrong.
Short
say
and
it as a
wrong.
joke.
It's John in a nutshell.
So Akali follows Jin to Piltover, falls for a trap, then captures Zed after Zed and Shen free her. She doesn't do that.
What?
Zed and Shen free her, and then Zed just flees the scene of the crime, and they take down Jin. Not sure what I was thinking here, but you know, that's the short and sweet of it. She does follow Jin to Piltover and then fall for a trap. So I mean, that happened.
You got that part right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty close. I mean, of all the things you could have written, the fact that it's about Akali, it's like already in the ballpark.
So Akali was killing people in multiples of 4, right? And
She always wears her mask.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wrote down. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, something that leaving Waylay, I forgot about the mention of like she pulls her mask down, that she's not. I forget that she doesn't always wear that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She takes it off for the most part, probably.
Right.
Yeah.
And even like the lesson, like she has it off until she needs to spring into action, and then she's like, all right, mask on, baby. I'm going to go kill this Noxian.
Seems like it'd be
Right,
harder.
it's one
with
guy.
the mask.
He's like, you put the mask on, really? I know as a kid, but
Right. You have to
this
assume
feels unnecessary.
if it's one guy with no witnesses and you put your mask on,
Look,
that
you better
you're,
get
you're
that
accepting
right.
the possibility that you're going to fuck it up.
I mean, also, no one else in Ionia is dressed like that. You don't need a mask. And she's got all these giant tattoos. I think they'll find you, Akali, mask or not, if they want to.
I feel like she doesn't. I could be wrong. I thought it was more like an intimidation thing or a thing to make them.
That
more,
makes sense.
Like she enjoys them being up, scared and stuff,
Oh, yeah.
and so she puts the mask up. I thought that's kind of how it was described. in Leaving
Probably.
Waylay. I
like
wish I had
that.
the text in front of me.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, she's a little bloodthirsty in that story.
Yeah, she
Honestly.
definitely
I
like
kind of forgot how.
enjoys
Killing.
like
Yeah.
you know, it's a she's killing people that suck and should probably die and such, but she definitely digs
Yeah, oh,
it.
yeah. She's loving it. Loving
It's
that
interesting.
murder.
I forgot that about her.
Yeah, me too. That was her color story we're referencing here.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Which I don't know if you guys wanted to go over that again. I know.
Oh, no, it's all right. Yeah, you just see a little bit of
new
action. You
findings.
get to see some adult Akali, using a smoke bomb and killing people with shurikens in like 0.2 seconds, like happens to me in League of Legends all the time. Especially
You
in
get to be
ARAM.
that nameless guard who
Yeah, I
got
can
killed
see.
instantly.
Dumb idiot.
Yeah,
That's
this
fun.
Akali's not building tank. I can tell you that
Oh,
much.
no.
That's why she doesn't. That's why she the tattoo hurts so bad. If she had a heart steel, she'd be fine.
I do love. Speaking of those tattoos, she has some quotes towards Jinx, just really ripping on her tattoo.
Does
What a
she?
snob, man.
Yeah, she's like, crazy and janky tattoos.
What's wrong with her tattoos?
Maybe that'll be maybe Jinx can show up in the Ionia season, and they can just have a little bit where they're very catty about their tattoos to each other.
I don't
Maybe
know.
they both get tattoos.
They're like
What about
next
that?
to each
And it's
other,
like, who
judging
can-
the other one's tattoo.
Yeah, or like who can get a bigger, like, wilder tattoo and not like flinch out. You know what I mean?
Which is
Oh,
funny,
I like that.
given how like kind of similar their tattoos are.
Yeah, that's why it's.
Yeah.
She has a lot of I didn't write down a lot of them, but like she's very sassy in her quotes towards other champions. Including
Yeah,
ones
she
that
kinda-
like I don't even feel like she has any reason to be sassy towards, other than they were like, yeah, she could do that probably. She's got one towards like little Moo Moo. It's like, yeah, you're gonna need those bandages, kid. And she's got one to Zoe. You know, we've never met, but you seem really annoying.
I mean, is she wrong though? Maybe a movie needs the bandages because of the injection, right? She's like, look, I got a little Barbie one. Or
Oh,
I
that's
got a
true.
little-
From the
A little Hot Wheels one. Which one do you want, Moo?
from what Nurse Akali did to him.
Yeah, I know, right?
Now, old Akali's old taunt used to be, so many noobs. Will matchmaking ever find true balance?
Oh my god. That's really dated.
Let's bring noob back. Let's get that back.
Right?
Right?
Can we get that back on the
I
roster?
haven't been called a noob in so long. They just tell me to kill myself. I miss noob.
Right? It was so innocent.
I would give anyone honor if they called me a noob.
Oh,
I would love
100%.
it. Yeah.
And with the zeros
Yeah.
instead of O's.
Absolutely, you gotta. Otherwise, what are you even doing?
Let's go call people noobs.
Hell
Let's play League
yeah.
and call people noobs.
Let's say we're gonna pwn them.
Yeah.
Good luck, have fun. Gonna get pwned. Maximum pwnage incoming.
Say hello to the pwnerer.
Check out my
Let's
pwner.
change this podcast. Let's make it just that. That's what
I got a raging pwner just for you. Oh, raging pwner is a great summoner name if anybody wants
That's
that.
pretty good.
Right? God, where's Pags? Let's get him on this.
Right?
He just changed his.
Message him right now. I'll pay for it.
I also came up with his current one, so.
I guess it's time for me to change my name. It's been a while, and I never liked it in the first place.
I know, but every time you talk about changing your name, you're like, I can't do it.
I know.
But Raging Pwner.
But Raging Pwner might be...
It's good. You better do it before this episode comes out, because otherwise someone's definitely
I know,
taking
everyone's going to
Raging
take
Pwner.
it. Don't take it, guys. TM, TM, TM.
You can take it in Europe or any other region.
Legally, you can't take it.
Patent pending.
Now, she has a few references in her quotes here. She's got a quote towards Talia that says, steel beats rock, which is a Pokemon reference where rock-type Pokemon are weak to steel types.
I was thinking about rock, paper, scissors. I was very confused.
Which, technically is
No.
right, although steel does lose to rock
Yeah,
in
steel
rock, paper,
loses to
scissors,
rock.
depending on the makeup of the
Scissors?
scissor.
Yeah.
But rock Pokemon always lose to the steel type.
Sure.
Yeah. Everyone dies. I just speed things up. Is very similar to Lucian's everybody dies, some just need a little help. And then the will comes from within, not from the blade. Refers to Aurelia's pre-rework title, The Will of the Blade. Awkward now, but
Dunk on her.
I
got
don't know.
her.
I feel like Akali is often reliant on her blades, you know?
It's more her gumption.
She's got
Gumption.
grit.
Yeah.
Great. She's got moxie. That's the one. That's what I was looking for.
All great words.
Yeah.
You want to hear about some AUs?
Yeah.
Sure.
So, she's part of The Grind Rift Hospital. Mm-hmm. Take a
Finally
seat.
got a woman involved, and they make her a nurse.
Take a seat. The doctor will be right with you. And then this is Nurse Akali. Hello, nurse. Goodbye, being alive.
Like a nice
Classic.
Animaniacs reference.
Right? Nice. You know what's funny, too? It was very dated when it came out, but now it's, it's more relevant now than it was when it
true.
came out because of the remake.
That's funny. You know what? It's all cyclical, isn't it? Pretty soon, everyone's gonna be saying noob. And we're gonna be the cultural fire starters that done kicked it off.
We brought it back.
Right. Pure Ponage is going to have a comeback. Actually, that movie didn't end up, I feel like, going anywhere. Did you watch that one when they came to the ride office?
No, I don't think so. I feel like
man.
I've heard of this though.
They it was an old web series I don't know how I assume it was popular. I fucking loved it. But then they decided to make a movie that was centered around League of Legends, and they premiered it at the Riot headquarters. And I was so fucking excited. I got to meet Jeremy, the lead from the show. I was so excited. I sent a picture to all my college roommates to make them jealous. But yeah, then I never heard from it again, so I don't know where it could have just gotten released in Canada. Who knows? It was it's Canadian.
Was the movie good? I mean, I don't know. But
it was
We'll
very.
find it, watch it.
I feel like if you liked
Do that for a Patreon.
the web series, you would like the movie. It was better than other League of Legends movies that came out. I am speaking of that one very specific one that was clearly League of Legends inspired, with like the all-female team that we watched.
Oh, yes. That was not good.
No.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
I know, I
But
forget
I'm sure
what
it's
it was
not
called.
as good as the show that we love. That I
It
can't
wasn't
remember
as
the name of.
good as
My God, what's the name of the show, Mark? The esports show.
Players?
Players! Oh my God, I couldn't remember the name of the show. Players.
Sorry, I
Wasn't
thought
as
you were
good
talking
as
about some other
Players.
wacky bullshit that y'all watched.
Oh, no.
The one where they're all dogs and there's some, and Mark Merrill comes and says, "There's no rule. It says a dog can't play mid lane."
Then he poops on the floor. Anyway, Blood Moon?
Blood Moon, Moons of Ionia,
Yeah,
Blood
yeah, yeah.
Moon. An ancient cult seeking irresistible power surfaces on nights of the Blood Moon to perform profane, esoteric rites, merging their flesh with demonic spirits and becoming one with an ever greater darkness. This one is Blood Moon Akali. Priestesses of the Blood Moon walk their own path, traveling far from the cult to pursue the whispers of their demons. A meditative figure living deep in the snow-dusted wood, Akali was the first woman to embrace her inner darkness and speak directly with the Blood Moon itself.
She's a trailblazer.
Right?
Just like us.
Just like us. We are Akali and so can you. We got Legacy, treasures from days long past, glimmering just within reach. We've got Silver Fang Akali. Former second in command of an honorable clan of assassins, Akali has broken from their ranks to find her own path. She plies her trade in the darkest corners of the world's largest metropolis, awaiting the day when she can establish a clan of her own. And we'll have a fun fact on this one attached to the Project skin line coming up.
Okay.
But before that, Headhunter. For some species, the hunt is more than mere sport. It possesses their minds and bodies, molding them into a race of perfect killing machines. Headhunter Akali. Her weapons flaring with alien energy, Akali hunts only the worthy in a dangerous game of life and death, striking from anywhere, at any moment. No living thing can escape her trophy wall. Culinary Masters. Culinary Masters, the incredibly popular cooking competition reality series, is streaming now, everywhere, on all platforms, all 1,000 episodes from each of the 50 seasons, even Culinary Masters Superstars and Celebrity Culinary Masters. Start binging today!
What about Culinary Masters Junior?
Oh, they don't have that one, actually. You have to get
Dude,
Peacock.
it's on Paramount Plus. Oh, no.
I don't have either of them.
Oh, fuck me. It's on Apple TV. Oh, no.
This one's Sashimi Akali. She's the fish ninja with speed on her side, the silent slicer, the death strike of deliciousness. Drop your guard and she'll assassinate your palate. It's your favorite, and mine, Akali!
Why is it done as like a ring announcer?
Yeah, it's very strange.
Because that's how I
Do
want
they
to
do
do
like battles? Oh, that's fine.
Maybe.
No, it reads like it.
Cooking battle?
Now, fun fact about this one, which isn't actually, I don't think, specified anywhere in there, but it's something I noticed, so it is now fact. So, this AU is kind of canonically part of Star Guardian due to Baker Pantheon being there. Which means, since Akali is also canonically part of Star Guardian Akali may in fact grow up to be this famous chef because she's in high school right now. This could be her future.
But Star Guardians all kind of
she-
like die, right?
Eventually.
Maybe there's a myth of a guardian who defied destiny and she ended up on a pretty good cooking reality TV show.
And honestly, I don't know how much you've read of the Twin Star story, but like Akali very much not down with Star Guardian shit a lot of the time. So I mean, I feel like she tried to walk away several times. So if someone was going to do it to be a reality TV star, it'd be her.
Is she into cooking at all? Does she like display any aptitude or interest in that?
I don't know about cooking. She's very, very into a ramen shop. She goes there every day for every meal that
Okay.
they serve. So I mean,
Sounds good.
That's the gateway one right there,
Fuck up some
ramen.
ramen.
Right?
Dude, don't give me.
I miss good ramen.
Me too.
I gotta contain myself.
And then we got Project. Among the megastructures and packed streets of a future controlled by global corporations, a shadow war rages between rebellious augmented humans and newly empowered artificial beings. The winners will shape the course of history, and the losers will be forced to evolve. This is Project Akali, a cutting-edge project subject who somehow escaped the city's boundaries. Akali brings dire warnings of an untested superweapon to those living in the wasteland beyond. With time running out and no other options, these outcasts join her in an attempt to take the mega corporation down. Suspicious that their newfound ally might in fact be a double agent. Now, in case you're wondering, this mega weapon she's referring to, that's Project Warwick.
Whoa.
And there's a cinematic for this called Outsiders, where it just kind of features the outsiders. They're coming back to town, baby. They were on the outside, and now they're coming in.
Watch out!
Watch out! Fun fact on this one, Silverfang Akali might actually be part of the Project universe, as, you know, Akali before her augmentation, because the Project Command Line logo, which is kind of the project folks who actually work for the big corporation, is visible on the back of Silverfang Akali's shirt. And she shares color and texture similarities with Project Lucian.
Interesting. Now I'm curious. I cannot remember the last time I saw that skin.
Right?
So I'm gonna be on the lookout for it.
Yeah, look out for it.
It's right here. I got it.
We got Crime City Nightmare. If corruption and illegality existed on a map, Valorant City would be its center. A breeding ground for all things depraved, there are no depths too deep from which evil can be found, and the horrors that lurk there are eager to spread their influence. Now, in case you're thinking that this sounds a little different than the Crime City Nightmare blurb of the past, they have split Crime City Nightmare into 3 separate ones, so the overarching Crime City Nightmare blurb still is talking about all the eldritch shit, and then within that there's another Crime City Nightmare one that Akali falls into. Crime City Nightmare Akali. A loyal enforcer for the Graves family, Akali took the same deal everyone else did when the mysterious gentleman came calling. The power changed her, twisted her into something that hears a siren song echoing from beyond the veil of reality. Now she acts in ruthless, horrific violence, seeking an inscrutable balance even she cannot name.
Interesting.
I like this version of Akali's lore, where, like, she's still, you know, she's still murdering people in the name of balance, but it's just like, but what do you mean by balance? Shut the fuck up. How about that?
Honestly, I feel
By
like
balance,
that's in
I
the
mean no
regular
you.
lore too. When they ask Shen about the
Exactly,
balance, he's
yeah.
like, you know.
So you know when it's like balanced? That's what it is.
Yeah. You'll know it when you see it.
Yeah. You just have to believe.
It reminds me of, you know, the Memento guy. Fighting for his, vengeance, or his, like, justice. If you haven't seen Memento, go watch Memento. I can't talk about it more because it'll ruin it.
Yeah,
but-
sure. Yeah.
Just like 25-year-old film.
Hey, it's still good, maybe. I haven't seen it in 25 years, but,
Yeah.
It's probably pretty good, right?
you know, it's Guy
Probably
Pearce
not
can't
worth
be bad.
spoiling, you know. Or
You know,
worth not spoiling, I should
Akali's
say.
coming up on her 15th anniversary here.
Oh, shit.
Oh, hey,
about
pretty
that.
good. She about to be inducted as the Order of the Shadow, or the Fist of the Shadow.
Prune
It's
and
an
trees or
unfortunate
something.
name. Yeah. You should call her the Gardener.
I like that. That's what they would call her in like the mob boss one or whatever.
That's true.
The gardener.
Sure.
Codename Gardener.
Yeah.
Now, she's also part of Eclipse, the Coven one. The witches lay in wait, a sisterhood of frightening pulchritude, their hopes whispered forth from desacralized lips. They speak of the bloating corpses of old gods, of ancient rites carried out with magics long forgotten to mortal mind, of the return of what they call order, but others call suffering. Hark! Mankind's end fast approaches.
The heart gets us every time.
Yeah,
It really wakes us both up.
It's because he pauses.
What's this Coven Akali? They came to Akali, encircling from the tree canopy at an impossible speed, their taunts leading her deeper still into the elderwood until at last she was lost. Then a voice whispered the choice right into her ear: die in these woods alone, or emerge in their charge. And so she walked out of the woods, straight into the arms of the Coven. And now this one has a prestige skin. With the runway prestige.
Yes!
Of course.
Arriving clad in a bold and sporty bodysuit, Akali's gala attire has us all spellbound. Subversive and on the cutting edge of fashion, she's fierce and redefines how we think of the Wicked Witch of the Woods.
It doesn't look like a Coven skin at all, this prestige one. I don't think I've seen it before.
Yeah, not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit. It's
it looks
just
like a KDA.
I was going to say, she looks like she's in KDA, and then they put thorny vines around her in the back. Like, the background is Coven.
Hey,
the
they
skin
know what
is
sells,
not.
man. They know what side their bread is buttered on, man. Come on.
I hope so. Butter both sides, you noobs.
Yeah. From the looks of the skin, they know what side their butt is breaded on.
It's a high-risk play. You drop that bread, you're fucked no matter what.
Oh, her butt's prominent in a lot of things, honey. What are you going to do? That's
and then she's part of the Siren's Call cinematic, which was like the Nami cinematic. She's just kind of... She shows up. Not heavily featured. Next up, we got Neon Strata. Few know of the foreglow, and even fewer have seen its volatile neon flames. Normally a cosmic balancing force, something has tipped the scales, causing realms to collapse and funnel the foreglow's power into single beings. Now known as Empyreans, these otherworldly forces of nature blaze a trail through the realms, each with their own agenda. The fire is spreading with no end in sight. The first Empyrean Pike tears through the realms on a destructive rampage against his counterparts, birthing new Empyreans in the process. Who will reign supreme as these new powerhouses emerge? And what will they do with their rapidly dwindling time left? Is Empyrean Akali. Before her realm's destruction, Akali was rotting away in prison for a failed assassination attempt on a despotic world warlord. Now on her own as Empyrean, she views her newfound freedom as a sign to stop the evil she couldn't before. The realm needs a defender, and Akali is determined to fight for them as long as she can.
Okay. I like the heroic turn.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
They don't do that a lot.
And we've got Infernal. Scorching an entire world takes unimaginable strength, which is why the Ashen Lord called upon his legions of Infernals to lend their flames. From the darkest depths, they each bring their own terrible power to bear, though not all answer their call with the same burning enthusiasm. As Infernal Akali. A Jinn summoned from the world below, the Infernal, known as Akali, will burn her patron's enemies to cinders, though the cost for such service is always dire.
Akali's on fire!
Yeah, and the splash, there's all those people there are summoning her. That's the...
I wonder what she charges them.
Life!
You gotta buy
$200. Oh.
$350. We've got The Grind Soccer Cup.
Oh, God.
Forget the battlefield, the boardroom, or even the playground. The most important conflicts of today are settled on the pitch. There's no act as satisfying as watching your favorite player slip through the other team, line up their shot, deliver their fateful kick, and release the sweetest word in existence.
Stop you.
All-Star Akali. A legendary all-star for Chaos FC, Akali was known for her aggressive style on the pitch. These days, she spends most of her time mentoring children and doing commercials for shoes.
Nice. Get that
good way
coin,
to get
Akali.
back Akali. Yeah. Wealth generation. It's about wealth.
We got Riot Records True Damage. What is True Damage? Man, True Damage is the future. It's a collective of the best artists from around the world coming together with the best collaboration to make the best hip-hop music. We're 5 steps ahead of the game, and everyone else has got to catch up. That quote is from Echo.
Oh.
This is True Damage Akali. After the worldwide success of KDA, Akali made it her mission to recruit accomplished and up-and-coming artists to form a new supergroup, True Damage. Never before has a crew been comprised of such diverse talent, ranging from natural lyricists to renowned producers to legendary vocalists, all ready to disrupt the music industry. And there are 2 cinematics for this: Breakout, which is kind of the teaser for Giants, and then Giants, which is the real deal, baby!
It's good. In case you haven't seen it yet.
Then we got Riot Records KDA. There's a place between fantasy and reality where anything can happen. You have the power to be anyone and do anything. It's your dream. In our in-between world, KDA feels confident and strong. We can do anything, and so can you.
Oh,
that quote's from Kaisa. Oh. This is KDA Akali. Akali's street aesthetic and hard-hitting lyrics inspired a dedicated fandom. She wields a microphone or comma as a hip-hop ninja, revolutionizing the stale scene with her raw talents. And then the prestige one, KDA Akali's on fire right now, spitting rap solos at the Pop Music Awards, and her prestigious costume is exactly what you'd expect from the new golden child of pop. And then she's got an all-out skin.
It was all of my strength, I'll say, to not interrupt you when you said Akali's on fire, and be like, no, that's the infernal skin.
Yeah.
Wait,
hold on.
We went over that.
Wait a minute.
Actually.
Fresh off her success with True Damage, Akali hits the stage full throttle with her bold edge and fresh new direction. She spits fire with a mic in hand and pushes the band to the bleeding edge, because that's what the baddest do.
No, you're just putting them in there. That doesn't say that. You just added that.
And then there's a few short stories associated with this. Inside KDA and Sharp are both just magazine articles about KDA. And then Harmonies is the comic.
We'll have a KDA episode one of these days.
Exactly. So I'm not going into any of these stories. Yeah. And then for cinematics, we've got Pop Stars, All Out, and The Day Before Snowdown. Which, as you might remember, KDA Akali makes a random appearance in for no reason. And then, fun fact here, she does not text Heartsteel Kane back anymore. And he's not happy about it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. They in the Heartsteel interviews, they were doing a lot like, oh, what do you think about like KDA and like their success? And they were like, oh, like we really admire them. They have like a word for their seniors. Or maybe they just call them seniors, just anyone who's been on the scene for longer. And Kane was like, that's all good and all, but just because you're a big deal doesn't mean you can't text me back, Akali.
It's not in you.
And finally, we have Star Guardian Season 4. Ancient enemies appear in a Valoran city scarred by Zoe's invasion, now defended by a new generation of Star Guardians. As darkness gathers in the skies above, Kaisa and Akali prepare their untested squad for a fight with forces beyond their comprehension, and the true threat that waits beyond. This is Star Guardian Akali. A street-smart, gregarious city girl with an upbeat attitude, Akali's life is turned upside down by the appearance of the Star Guardians, and the destruction that follows them. Taking the oath alongside her best friend Kaisa, she stands against the enemies of the First Star with finely honed reflexes and an array of powerful Guardian weapons. Can friendship drown out the doubt in her heart, or will Akali be the first of the new generation to fall? Meet her magical medium, Umi! Akali always leaves a few noodles at the bottom of the bowl for Umi, even though it pains her not to slurp it clean herself. But that's what friends are for, right? The two practically live at Noodle Bill's. If he starts making breakfast ramen, you can bet they'll be there bright and early, chopsticks at the ready.
Please don't say the word slurp it.
Too late, I said it. I said it already. She's gonna slurp it clean.
The enthusiasm only makes it worse.
Yeah, you were so excited to say those words.
Well,
Wouldn't you be, though? Come on.
So, yeah.
Now, important thing to know about Star Guardian Akali. Her blood type is B. Hobbies are arcade games. Favorite foods are chashu ramen. And favorite subject is social science and anatomy.
Ooh.
Now, there's a few cinematics she's in. Everything Goes On, which is the music video that slaps. Slaps. Shadow of a Doubt, which is a cool non-music video. It's pretty cool. And then she's in the short story Twin Stars. Short story is a misnomer here, of course. It is so long. She's in a comic, Star-Crossed Embrace, which is actually like the what's her name, the Zaya comic, but towards the end of it, they reconcile with the rest of the Star Guardians in like the last issue.
So it's
and
like
that's where she's in.
the Zed comic. She's like
Yeah, exactly.
a little bit at the end.
And then she's kind of one of the stars of the visual novel Another Sky. Where she and Kaiser are just trying to figure things out, trying to figure out how to be the best Star Guardians they can be.
They really went hard with this latest season of Star Guardian.
They did, yeah. And they there's I think some of the best Star Guardian content is from that event too. Like Twin Stars, very long story, but also probably the best Star Guardian story in my opinion. Raises Akali herself, I feel like, raises a lot of good questions about Star Guardians that no one else in the Star Guardian stories wants to talk about.
It's like, with it being out for so long, now Riot is having these these questions and doubts.
So yeah, that was really good. Also the cinematics from this one go really hard too. And the visual novel, raises a whole bunch of not only do we get a bunch of past shit about the Star Guardians, which was very cool that we didn't know before, but it also sets up some really cool future villains and story points. So I feel like Another Sky, I would say maybe the best in client event lore-wise.
Really interesting.
Yeah. I know people love the Spirit Blossom one, but you know what? It's Another Sky for me, folks.
Nothing beats the Sentinel event for me.
Right. You gotta step to the king. You gotta,
The wild thing is
crown,
that they had two simultaneous in-client Star Guardian events happening that were unrelated to, related to each other, but two completely separate ones. They had this one going on in the PC client, and then they had one that focused on Zaya and Rakan happening at the same time in the Wild Rift client. It's crazy.
Interesting. Well, I'll be really that does kind of excite me to dig into it. I will say.
When we get to chapters 3 and 4 finally.
Sure, yeah. We'll get there.
I got a handful of fun facts.
Yay.
Sure.
I have a lot of voice actor fun facts because it's just a lot of history here, I guess. So Akali was originally voiced by Laura Bailey, who also voices Miss Fortune in Legends of Runeterra, Battle Bunny Miss Fortune in League of Legends, and Lunar Beast Miss Fortune in Wild Rift, and, in case the name sounds familiar, is also in Critical Role. Akali is voiced currently by Krajia Bejos, who also voices Silent Shadow Seer and Karina Varaza in Legends of Runeterra.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Now, Akali was voiced by Ashley Birch in The Lesson, and she also voices Star Guardian Akali and Crystal Rose Akali.
Why?
And also recorded a brand new bass voiceover for Akali, but it never made it off PBE.
Oh, do they know why?
No idea.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
A few scrapped spells that were considered for Akali. She was originally going to be able to ride allied projectiles, kind of like she can kind of carry, follow her own shuriken back when she lands on it. She's able to ride at ally ones.
Oh, God.
Is this for the rework or the original?
I think it's the rework.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it all seems too ambitious for an original.
Yeah.
They didn't have the code at the time for that shit.
Sure.
It's like she rode the minion, you know?
Right? She used to have an ability, or they were testing an ability where she'd throw out 2 kunai with a rope in the middle that would trip opponents.
Oh.
My guess would be it just ended up being too similar to Aurelia's one where she puts out 2 and then stuns them in the middle. Because I imagine the tripping would either just be a stun or a short knockup, right?
Yes.
Unique tripping animation for every champion.
Oh, that'd be so
just
good.
They stumble and they're like, "Oh fuck, no, I'm fine." Just...
They all say something different.
Oh man, I'm having Smash Brothers Brawl flashbacks.
Yeah. They should have that in the game. A random chance that your champion just stumbles a little bit. You're not like drunk or anything. Just had a few beers. They're cool to drive.
Now, there's an early concept depicted that the shroud that pops out used to emerge in the shape of a dragon, but it was removed to reduce visual noise.
Oh, they should... Let's crank the visual noise a little bit. Maybe on a really good skin.
Just a little bit of visual.
Just one time.
Now, to your assertion about her age in the Bow and the Kunai, 9 years old.
Oh, sorry. I thought she was 8.
And she left the Kinku Order between her 17th and 19th year at some point.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
She's presumably 5 feet 3 inches tall.
Oh, just a little shorter than me.
Yeah, based on kind of comparisons, I think, to her height in media compared to other champions.
Interesting.
As we mentioned, Akali was clearly not her mother's original choice to inherit her title of the Fist of Shadow. Her original dance referenced Single Ladies by Beyonce. Akali was the only energy-based champion originally to have any associated cost on their ultimate. That being said, it was not an energy cost. It was 1 essence of shadow.
Oh my god. Just to overcomplicate things a little bit.
Yeah, she could store up, she had
like
2 essences of shadow that she would store up.
Gotcha.
I
remember that now.
Akali used to gain the Law of Inverse Ninja Strength cosmetic Easter egg debuff, which said, this unit's a flippin' ninja. Ninjas are more effective when they work alone. For every ninja on your team beyond yourself, you lose 1 health. This was removed in 3.14 for unknown reasons.
I mean, sometimes that 1 health.
That 1 health will do it.
Sometimes, yeah. Not if your heart, you got that heart steal though. That's why people build it in case that buff ever come back.
And finally, Akali is the second champion after Yasuo to have an emote that will orient itself the same, facing towards the camera, no matter which direction Akali was facing. She is the first to always reposition herself to face the camera when using the emotes, and has this function on both her dance and joke emote.
I will say, I'm not a fan of this tech. I prefer being able to get champions into goofy positions.
Yeah. You want to make it look like they're jerking each other off and stuff.
Yeah,
when you're waiting for the ARAM to start.
You don't need to say it, but that is the point.
That's what we're doing, yeah.
It's the only use of emotes
I never
ever.
use emotes otherwise. I have no idea. I just spam each one to see if something funny happens. And if it doesn't, I'm like, well, I'm never playing this fucking champion. Is that it?
That's all I got.
Do we have any other
that's
thoughts
it.
about Akali, about revisiting her? I guess just underwritten is how we're feeling. She seems like she could be such a important part of what's going on in Ionia.
Yeah, she's got a lot of runway laid.
I'm imagining her as
the
like
plane in flight,
like how Katarina assassinates for Noxus. It's kind of what Akali feels like to me. It's like she's here to like be put in dangerous places to get one person dead and then leave. And I like that. I think that's good.
Yeah. Katarina's just so much more explored in that space.
She is, yeah.
Yeah, and to be fair, she wasn't as much till she got that comic. I mean,
That's true.
I think, not really, Akali could be a really good character to spend a lot of time with because she's really easy to, I think, to kind of sympathize with, and she is kind of, her beliefs, I think, are where a lot of people would probably sit, right? Whereas, like, they don't feel comfortable with the complete inaction that we see from some Ionians, and we also don't want to be, overzealous like some other Ionians, right? So it's like naturally she's very much stuck in that big tension that's a part of the region, and she could be a reason, like a good character to spend time with and use that to explore that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
But-
She seems like the Ionian that someone outside of Ionia would side with if they heard about the conflict, right? Like
I think so.
They don't want
Yeah.
the general pacifism. They don't want the overaggression. But just like, oh, are you a piece of shit? Cool, get fucked.
Yeah, she's not so weirdly like almost alien like in there, like lack of emotion that we see from Shin in some cases, not as much in the comic, I guess. Anyway, that was kind of. I hope that maybe they do something with her in like an Ionia's series. Could be fun.
I'd love it.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Well, thanks for revisiting Akali with us. I always like going back to these old champs, especially ones that, she did pop up with the Zed comic here and there, but I haven't gone and looked back at her original stuff in a while, not since Kennen, I guess, because he's in the Bow and the Kunai, but I mean, I didn't even read the whole thing. I don't think I read his parts. So this is the first time rereading the entire thing since we did Akali, and it was really nice. We have a Twitch, twitch.tv/loreheads. John streams there every Saturday, EST in the evening. He does TFT in air rooms with viewers, sometimes a random indie game. He's good at TFT, although apparently last week you fucked it up.
No, last week.
No, last week was okay.
Now I don't remember.
No, I don't think it was a good one. But that's okay. That happens. We also have a YouTube if you want to see our beautiful faces and whatnot. Go to our Halloween episode, see Mark's and Nivea cosplay. Check out our YouTube. We also have a Discord if you want to find some people to play League with, chat with, talk about how wonderful we are. Please join the Discord. And we have a Patreon. It's $5 a month for all bonus content. We just released a reaction to the Season 1 World Finals, which was a wild ride. Yeah, and next we'll be doing a bonus episode about Convergence, which we're finally going to play, and talk about the game as a whole and any story beats that are in it. I doubt it'll be like a ton lore-wise, and we are pretty sure it's not canon, but that's okay. It'll still be fun to explore. Thank you so much to all of our patrons.
But a very special thank you to our Medarda tier patrons, Mr. Dead and King of Hearts. If you were my daughter and I was the Fist of Shadow, I would make sure that I paid extra attention to you and trained you to take over for me.
That was
And
beautiful.
not some random lady with dead parents.
Some random lady. Some random child. She was 12, John. Some random
Right.
12-year-old lady with dead
Random
parents. And
lady.
now one leg.
Yeah. Even if
That
you
was
two were
before, or
responsible
as
for that
after.
missing leg, I'd still train you to be my replacement.
Well, I'll say
hear
he
it?
is a great dad.
Get adopted by
That's a good
John.
promise.
Yeah. That's what's on offer, I'm pretty sure.
Well, we have... We do not know what we're doing next week because we sat down to plan out our videos, and for this one we were like, we'll come back to it, and then we never did.
figure it out.
We'll figure it out. We need a little bit more time to read Ambessa. That'll be happening at the end of the month. But in the meantime, please be
Yeah.
sure to join us next week because we are going to have an episode where we talk about something.
Something.